Hello everybody, this is some person on the internet and today we will be talking about surface area and an introduction to polynomials. So for volume, our equation for this is V equals base times height. And by the way, this shape is a rectangular prism, but I'm just going to say prism. I'll put rectangular up here as well just to help you guys. Rectangular prism. So the volume is base times height. And the surface area is the surface area is SA is equal to LA plus 2B. And LA, to get LA, it is the sum of the area faces, the area of the faces. So after that lovely introduction to volume and surface area, we can just remove this and we will get started. So let's clear up the calculator, but we're going to be using it, and we're going to do the base, which equals the volume. We're going to do the volume, but we're going to try to figure out the base first. So base equals this 8 and 13, which is 8 times 13. And if we plug into the calculator, let me turn it on first. Sorry, guys. 8 times 13, we get 104, so it equals 104. And then we're going to try to figure out the height. We will say that the height is, the only height we have is 22, so height equals 22. And let's include the meters as well. And 104 meters squared because it's a base. It's squared because meter times meter is meter squared. And after that, we have the LA, which is perimeter times the height. And what is it? Well, if we add both of these sides, 8 plus 13, there's this side and there's this side. So it'll be 8 plus 13 plus 8 plus 13, and we get 42. So it'll be 42 times the height, which would be 22. And after that, 42 times 22, we get 924 meters squared. And since we multiplied meters times meters, we get meters squared. And then what's the next part? Well, the next part is pretty simple. And let's create a little barrier. And we're going to try to figure out the volume. But if you remember, volume equals just base times the height, which is 104 meters squared, times 22 meters, which we get, and I cannot do this in my head, so we're going to do it in the calculator. 104 times 22, we get 2,288. 2,288 meters cubed. And after this, we're going to try to figure out the SA, the surface area, which is LA plus 2B. And it would be the LA, we have it right here, 924, so it's 924 meters squared plus 2 times B, 2 times the base, so it'll be 2 times 104 meters squared would be, if we multiply this, which would be, let's clear this up, 2 times 104, and we add the 924 meters squared, we get 1,132, which we would get 1,132 meters squared. And let's see if I was right. Yep. And these are our two answers that he is expecting you guys, or they are expecting you guys to figure out. So we're now doing the next example, and the next example is now we're going to get introduced to polynomials, and this is what we've been waiting for. So base equals x times 4 times x times 4. Wait, x plus 4, sorry. X plus 4, x minus 2. And when we multiply these, what we would get would be x squared plus 2x minus 8. Now, what about the height? The height would be 3x minus 2. What about the LA? Well, LA equals LA would equal the perimeter times the height. Perimeter times the height. Let's write that down. And I forgot to switch colors, sorry, which is LA equals perimeter times the height, which equals the perimeter, which would be x. Well, there's two perimeters. There's this perimeter right here, and there's this perimeter back here. And it would be, if we add all of them up, we would get, let's do it. So it'll be the first side would be 2x plus 2 plus 2x plus 2. And when we add these up, when we add these two up, we would get 4x plus 4 for our perimeter. And then we have to multiply by the height. And the height would be red. I'm going to say blue. The height would be pink. And this is our height. So it'll be times 3x minus 2. And if we multiply these together, we would get about for our final solution, we would get 12x squared minus 2x minus 4. And we can get started with the volume now. And this is going to be fun, guys. Now, since volume equals base times height, it would mean that we have our volume up here, which would be our base, which would be x squared plus 2x minus 8 times the height, which would be 3x minus 2. And when we do all that amazing math, we would get 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 28x plus 16. And that would be our volume. And it doesn't give us units, but we'll put units. And since it has the third degree as the highest value, we're going to say units cubed. And that's our first answer. Now, for the surface area, let me fix that A, sorry. For the surface area, it would equal, if I remember correctly, it's LA plus 2B. So, make that bigger. So what we would get, interpreting this, the LA, we have 12x squared minus 2x minus 4. And then we add the second base. We basically get this base and multiply it by 2. So we add it by 2x. If we multiply it out, the 2b, for SA, we multiply this by 2. We would get 2x squared plus 4x minus 16. And when we add all this up, we would get, let's see, you'll see this in real time, my struggles. You would get, if we add these up, we would get 14x squared plus 2x minus 20. And that would be our SA. And it's the highest degree is squared, so it's units, and it doesn't tell us our units, so we're going to say units squared. And I hope this helped. The surface area, the volume of polynomials can be a little bit tricky, but once you do a lot more practice, which your teacher should provide you, you should be ready to go. And yeah, that's all.